Hello everybody, and I am back, and I would like you to talk about something that honestly I read by Cliff Bleszinski. Had stated that Japanese developers need to stop ignoring multiplayer, and to a certain degree he is right, that honestly the idea of a multiplayer does extend the game's life. To what extent, maybe not a lot, but enough to make people not be willing to trade it in or wait till this game goes on sale. Kind of an incentive to say, ooh, I'd like to play this game right away. He is right that there needs to be a bigger incentive, be it multiplayer. Though I have to say is that honestly most multiplayer games don't really have a long shelf life. And sad as it may be, he is right that honestly that the Japanese market is ignoring a very big, possible lucrative thing, but they have to, honestly, I feel that he shouldn't be just spouting this off, because honestly, that's jumping in half-cocked, because honestly, you have to have the idea solid before you jump in. You can't just tack on multiplayer, because there's been a lot of games in the West that have had tacked on multiplayer that really, for lack of a better word, are a pile of turd. And he is right that this is a chance to make tons of money. And honestly, I think the best thing for the Japanese market to do would be more to look at it and go, these multiplayer games are making it. How do we make it a co-op? The biggest thing that I feel they should do is start small and think on a small co-op, kind of like, even though this is taking Bleszinski stuff, a horde-like, not even horde-like mode, but the idea of horde mode, where it's more of a casual experience to be working together to have a fun time with a small knit group of people, not this wild, extravagant Call of Duty explosions killing everyone left and right, because not all games need a multiplayer, and any game that adds it, it should be done right. Now, it doesn't even have to make a story sense, it just has to be done right. And honestly, for a lot of games, the easiest cop-out to do that would at least extend the life expectancy, to extend the life of the game, and make it more likely for people to play it, would be some form of co-op mode. I have to say, I honestly feel co-op modes are a better investment in video games. Better investment in video games, because yes, it requires a lot, but it also tests the waters to see if a multiplayer aspect would be fun and enjoyable, and pretty much it allows you to get away with doing new things. Honestly, I seriously doubt Call of Duty would have put co-op mode in there if zombies in the World at War Zombies would have been a flop. They would have ignored the co-op mode in Call of Duty. And honestly, that would have been a sad thing. I may not like it, but it is a great idea to expand on it. There's one Japanese game, Binary Domain. It is a very, very fun game. The multiplayer aspect, the true traditional multiplayer, is an okay, bare bones basic. That one is a hit or miss. Not really. There's barely anyone online. I bought it a month later, and there's no one online playing it, which is a sad thing. But the co-op horde mode is fun as bloody hell. It is something that honestly I would think just as much time as in horde mode in Gears of War, maybe more. Mainly because its setup makes you feel like a class-based game, but it also lets you get away, have a quick, fun couple matches, and stop like a normal multiplayer. This is how the Japanese should be putting their focus on the main story, because they are pretty good with their stories. They may not always be the best in some areas, be it Final Fantasy, and I don't get flack for that, but they do very good story on par with the West, but it was like they do very good story, but they focus from a character driven, instead of the West focuses most of their stories from an experience of this of you in most other games. Mostly in RPGs, but Japanese have a stronger affinity for the RPGs. But I digress. But honestly, the co-op feature needs to be placed in games that deserve it, or adding it. Heck, my Way the Samurai 4 that's coming out has a quasi-multiplayer effect, even though it is not a interaction. Your own character will be showing up in your friends' games who have the same game, and that is something that super excites me, because honestly, that type of game is like Skyrim, where it's what you talk about with people. And honestly, that is a nice, good, small step into the multiplayer front, but I do feel that they need to make a bigger jump into it. They need to do a co-op, and they just need to find the right balance with co-op before they go to hardcore multiplayer, because you know what, there are too many hardcore multiplayer, and that takes a lot of money from the team. And honestly, that is a smart reason why they don't put multiplayer in, because this takes money from the team where the development could be going otherwise. And honestly, I feel that you should give someone who has an idea that sounds good leeway to do a little multiplayer if it fits, or if you can make it sound fun and enjoyable, because honestly, that's the first thing. Make it fun and enjoyable and ease of use. Because honestly, it is better to have a hardcore story game in a mid-tier multiplayer aspect, because it allows people who are hardcore gamers to get into this multiplayer aspect, but also doesn't exclude the casual ones, because truth be told, some of the hardcore games that I've tried to have other people play, but when it has a little more casual, it's not as intense, people tend to enjoy it and love it, because you know what? They don't have to worry about people head glitching or taking advantage of mistakes in the system, where all you're doing is fighting against the computer and having fun. Like this. This is a great game for... This is the idea where these Western, Eastern developers should take. If they make a story, they should have a... This can become intense, but it's a casual, more like, okay, you pick up, you play, you don't really worry, you don't really think about it, and you just go through it. It's the... Honestly, they should be focusing on what I've always think, the camaraderie that you get in games, not through this intense, I'm killing everyone and I'm killing other players, but more this camaraderie about playing against the computer and going, oh my god, did you see I'm screaming, telling the guy down, oh my god, did you see him, oh my god, I stopped him before he ran in front of your gun. It's that camaraderie, water cooler experience that Eastern and Western people should take. I hate tasers. I really hate these guys. Great design, but I hate him in game. But honestly, this is what Bleszinski, he is right that they need to focus in a different area, but he's wrong to say they need to pick up multiplayer, because in this disc-based thing, you need multiplayer. Skyrim is a prime example that you do not need multiplayer, but it does help your cause in playing video games and such and whatnot. And honestly, I do feel that they should be taking into account some form of light multiplayer experience. It doesn't have to be hardcore, but some light multiplayer experience to retain your audience that may not be a hardcore fan, but you put really good effort in both sides, but you kind of tease the hardcore with what they want, and then you let them go, here's something that everyone can like and enjoy. I'm running out of time. Thank you again, and I hope to continue this conversation, and good night.
Alex, you inbound? We need that C4 ASAP.